How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 118 of Trail Tales. My name is Kyle O'Grady. I am a huge hiking nerd, and every single week, pretty much every single week anyways, on this podcast, I chat with other hiking nerds about their experiences on the trail. And speaking of hiking nerds, this week's guest is probably the biggest hiking nerd I've ever met in my entire life, Jonathan Zaherek. He's back on the podcast for a second episode. If you frequent the Adirondacks and you look at a lot of hiking content, I'm sure you know Jonathan. If you don't, you should get to know him by listening to this episode. That sounds perfect, right? We talk a lot about backcountry skiing, which is something that Jonathan just kind of started to get into this past winter, and something I'd like to get into this upcoming winter. We talk a little bit about trail running, and for the first time ever in Trail Tales history, about halfway through the episode, Jonathan brings in a friend of his that he was with, who is currently working on hiking every single peak in the Adirondacks that has a trail to it. His name is Nick Groves. It was cool to kind of chat with him for a few minutes as well, shake things up. And so thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jonathan. And I'd love to have you guys back on the show sometime soon. Real quick, before we get into it, I just want to say how you can help support the show. And this is important stuff. I know every podcast, every YouTuber says this shit, but seriously, guys, it's really important. If you listen to these episodes a lot, if you're a big Trail Tales nerd, if you're a big hiking nerd, and you want to help support me in doing this, you're not really supporting me, you're supporting the show. There's a few things you can do. The most important of which is go to patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking and just sign up for, $2, $3, whatever, $5 a month for however many months you want. Doesn't have to be a lot, but joining the Patreon is the number one way to support the show. I've done a little bit of sponsorships in the past, but haven't really had the opportunity to do any lately. I'm not really super eager to do any either, to be honest. Not totally opposed, but honestly, I like Patreon better. So if you want to help support the show, patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. I know that's not the Trail Tales Patreon. Well, it is the Trail Tales Patreon now. I used to have a Trail Tales Patreon specific to Trail Tales, but that is no more. Now there's just one for my YouTube videos and for Trail Tales, patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. Please check that out. Rate the show 5 stars. Don't rate it 4 stars. Certainly not lower than that. 5-star rating on whatever your podcast app is. That would be much appreciated as well. And feel free to send me an email, trailtalespod@gmail.com. I'm kind of behind on the emails right now, but I will reply to you. I promise. It might take me a little while, but I will reply to you. Happy to take suggestions and guest ideas, all that stuff as well. Anyways, let's get into it. Episode number 118 with Jonathan Zaherek. All right, testing, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 118 of Trail Tales. I think it's 118. I would know, but I missed the last couple weeks, and I just want to say sorry for that. I guess it's not the first time that I've missed a few weeks. Certainly not the first time that I've missed an episode, but this is a weekly podcast, and so I always feel bad when I miss weeks, and especially when I miss 2 in a row. I just want to say sorry, I guess. I don't think anyone really cares that much, so I guess more so what I wanted to say. And the reason I'm not saying this in the introduction, by the way, is because most of you guys skipped the introduction, so please don't do that. They're short nowadays, I promise. But I just wanted to say it here so I make sure everyone hears it. This is still a podcast, don't worry. Maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but it makes me feel bad when I miss weeks, and it makes me feel extra bad when I miss 2 in a row. So don't worry, I'm still going to get back into it. Yes, I'm going to miss weeks every now and then, but my goal is still 1 episode a week. Anyways, thank you for bearing through that. I'd like to bring in this week's guest, a repeat guest, a good friend of mine, Jonathan Zaherek. Dude, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, dude. Thank you for coming back on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I'm sure many of you know Jonathan, especially if you hike in the Adirondacks a lot and you follow hiking content. I'm sure you know Jonathan. And plus, we did a previous episode. I should have looked up which number it was, but I cannot remember. I'm going to do that right now. But while I do that, Jonathan, can you just introduce yourself for the folks who might have missed that episode, or just give some people a refresher if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I'm Jonathan Zaherek. I'm a professional landscape photographer and hiking guide in the Adirondack Park. I basically eat and breathe and sleep the high peaks. Don't sleep on a high peak though, because that's illegal. So that's basically what I do. I live in Lake Placid, and I recreate all my time out in the mountains here, and also got a YouTube channel, and just like Kyle's, I guess not just like Kyle. Kyle's
a little more professional than mine.
yeah. Kyle's is a little bit more professional than mine.
No, other way around. Jonathan makes way less dick jokes than I do.
But yeah, so Kyle and I have definitely a lot of mutual passions about these mountains. Him being in Vermont, me being in the Adirondacks. He's constantly talking about the Vermont 5, just how much greater they are than like the whites and the
way
high peaks here, way
more
harder
scenic
than combined. But yeah, so that's who I am.
Yeah, man.
If it matters,
it does matter.
Whatever it matters.
It does
for
matter. And by the way, I just looked up our last episode. It was number 77, and it was posted on June 9th, 2020.
Oh, and this is 108.
Yeah. Or no. Wait, no.
Oh.
Sorry. This is what did I say? 118, I think. Yeah.
Ooh.
See, I have no fucking 118. Yeah, 118. But that's crazy. That was like almost a year ago to the date that it probably was like a year ago to the date that we actually recorded, and then almost a year to the date that it was posted. That's
sure.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago, to be honest, but I guess 77 is a lot of episodes ago. Now that I'm 118, so shit, that's crazy. And we talked a lot about your single season Winter 46, which I still think is fucking crazy. Like that's super gnarly. Like hats off to that. What have you? I mean, I guess you've probably been up to a lot, but
Yeah, no, I can definitely give a brief
skiing. I saw you started doing some backcountry skiing.
So I'd gotten to skiing this past winter, and at the worst time, like mid-February, which
backcountry
is like
skiing, just
backcountry skiing.
So we're clear,
so basically, like I've always wanted to learn how to ski well. I had skied before, but with all the like snowshoeing, I pretty much knew how to ski because I'm sliding down all the trails with my snowshoes on. But so I decided to go skiing with all my coworkers at the time. And they took me up the backside of Mount Joe, which is essentially like a closed double black diamond trail that you just shouldn't go on because of how turny and just steep and all the trees and everything. And so they put me on a really nice pair of backcountry skis, and I made it down eventually in one piece. And I just was like, I was hooked on it. And I don't think like the rest of the winter I used snowshoes.
Damn,
until like like there was like a high peak that I had to like run up where you couldn't ski down that trail because it was just so narrow or whatever. Like I would obviously carry my snowshoes and then go up, but I just I spent like almost every single day skiing somewhere, going to Whiteface, and just trying to learn as much as I could before the winter ended. It was a good maybe like I think I want to say out of the 60 days, maybe I think I got maybe 27 of the 60 days I got out skiing.
Nice.
So it was really, really awesome. I'm looking forward to this winter for sure. Season pass at Whiteface, coming over to Vermont, hitting up Killington, Mansfield maybe, but people talk trash about Mansfield for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know. Like
Mansfield's tight.
Like that's where all the rich people ski. I don't know.
You're thinking of Stowe. You're thinking of Stowe Resort probably.
Well, the Stowe, like Smuggler's Notch, like there, like on Mansfield and that. Well, the Stowe Resort.
Stowe Resort's where most people talk shit probably because it's owned by Vail and like it's kind of expensive. It is fucking pretty expensive. It's pretty dope too though. I'm actually thinking about getting a pass there next year, but
nice.
We'll see.
So yeah, definitely I got into all that skiing and I'm so like looking forward to it. I'm over the winter. I mean summer. Whew, forgive me. Over the summer. But I'm not over the summer because I have a ton of plans and it's like I think that's just good though because it's like you're excited about every season. Except November.
Yeah, dude, fuck November.
And March. Not March, April, May. Actually, I think I found out, I hate May more than April now.
Really?
Because there's still a lot of snow, like in April. There really is. Like the last week of like April is actually a fantastic time. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's honestly that bad, but April or May is just... It's disgusting. It's so bad.
It's a transition month for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. But then pretty much once the summer came, all I've just been doing is I'm a really big trail runner. Like I'm constantly going out, just grinding and pushing myself as hard as I can, trying to just, I don't know, be the best athlete that I can, enjoy the mountains to the fullest, enjoying my, I guess, my youth as much as I can, and just kind of learning, meeting so many amazing people. It's like, the hiking community is just like, it's its own world. Like I don't have to say that, like, that's just, we know that. And anything that involves the mountains, honestly, like unites, like, it's like there's two types of people in this world. You either like the mountains or you don't. And it's like everyone who loves the outdoors, everyone who loves the mountains, there's so many things just within the mountains. And it's absolutely nuts. Rock climbing communities, mountain biking communities, ice climbing, skiing, Nordic skiing, specific kinds of skiing,
downhill skiing.
Yeah. And so like all of this stuff out here, that's why I love living here in Lake Placid, because there's always something to do, and you just get to meet so many amazing people. And so expanding your sports out here is particularly very enjoyable. And so that's why I'm glad I got into that stuff and the trail running. And I just purchased like a really nice bike so I can like start going and hanging out with my friends.
You're doing it all, man. Shit. Do you rock climb too?
Yeah, actually, that's like one of my main sports before I even moved here.
Oh, okay, cool.
So like I'd go down to like the Red River Gorge and stuff like that, and actually like do like trad climbing. And I was raised kind of an indoor climber, so I did that for like 3 years solid before I moved here. And then once I finally just had the high peaks in my back door, because I kind of slowly stepped out of the rock climbing world.
You really do. You really do it all. That's cool. Go back to the skiing thing for a second. Like I'm like a pretty big downhill skier, but I've never backcountry skied before, and I really want to get into it next year. I'm like really stoked because it seems like this. I haven't done it yet, so I really don't know, but it seems like it's the perfect way to combine skiing, my passion for skiing and my passion for hiking into the like one thing. And I just think it'd be really sick to make like videos where I can like draw people in because it's hiking stuff, but also just like shred some shit on my GoPro too.
let me tell you, I think one of the most satisfying things this past winter. So if anyone listening to this is familiar with Allen Mountain, it's probably one of the most remote 4,000 footers in the Northeast. So it's nearly a 20-mile out and back for one mountain, but because of that, it's like all flat to the base. It's all flat all the way until pretty much like the last mile and a half. And so normally on snowshoes going in on the trail, like you're looking at like a 12-hour day, like trying to get to this mountain. Mm-hmm. And here I am on skis. And I'm like, all right, I feel good enough to do Allen and all this other stuff. I ski in and I come out in, I don't know, I think it was maybe like 4.5 or 5 hours. Like it was just so fast. And it's like when you're coming out, you're just going downhill very slightly, and it's just you're cranking it like anywhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour, and you're not even doing anything.
So I know, again, you're not like a fucking pro backcountry skier. Oh my gosh, obviously just started.
Yes. But if anyone's listening to this and knows that I am by no means, I don't ever want to, don't take advice from me.
It was fun. It was fun watching your Instagram stories of you skiing though, because I could still tell that you were new a little bit, but I could also tell that you were fucking going like wicked hard, which was sick to see. So it was really fun to watch.
Yeah. I only showed the parts where it looked like I tried to know what I was doing,
That's all right. That's what I do when I post my GoPro videos of myself skiing too. I was going to say though, so on the way back down Allen, then you didn't have to put the skins back on at all. You were just like you could actually like straight up ski like all the way back to the parking lot.
The backcountry skis that I have are scaled on the bottom. So,
I don't even know what that means. I'll be honest.
So there's alpine skiing and then there's backcountry skis. So alpine skis pretty much are like you can take a pair of skis you would use at Whiteface, and you can also go and backcountry ski with that. But it all depends on the binding. Because you can't lock in, have a regular downhill binding, to go backcountry skiing, because you have to have your heel lifting coming up and down. And so with a regular pair of skis, you can strap on skins and then put a dedicated binding on there. But the thing is, in order to go uphill, you have to use skins.
Whereas for me, honestly, that's the only way I've ever seen people do it, because my roommates and I have a couple other friends who do it too. Sure. And that's the way that they do it. So that's the way I thought I was going to do it too, but I guess there's other options.
So there are other options. So for example, sometimes, skins are really meant for going up pretty steep stuff, like decently steep. There's just like, if you have to like pizza your way up a hill, you should probably be wearing skins, but you can put different temperatured wax grades on the bottom of your skis to help you go uphill as well. And what my skis have, which differentiate them from regular alpine skis to backcountry skis, BC skis are that they have scales on the bottom that flow in one direction, so that when I go up, it naturally just grips the snow. And so it's like the snow it won't, like, there'll be no friction going forward.
Yeah.
But then there will be immense friction coming back. And yeah, I mean, it does take away. So
you
maybe,
don't have to you don't have to change like anything, like if you want to go up or down.
Exactly. And
that
I
is
love
sick.
that.
I never even knew that was a thing.
Well, no, I do need to change, because obviously it's going to eventually get steep. And so then there's a point where you have to throw your skins on.
Okay.
So for example, like the trail into Marcy Dam, it has some up, it has some down, and maybe only goes up like 50, 60 feet up, 50, 60 feet down, and it goes like 2.5 miles, right? And so it's a nice walk into the woods. But the scales in the bottom of my skis grip so well that, you know, I'm cruising on the down, but then when I hit an uphill, I'm just kind of like shuffling and going up. Like I had skins on. So it's a very lightweight skin, I guess you could say, that's naturally integrated to the ski. And so then obviously once it starts getting steeper and steeper, you just have to put skins on at a certain point.
Yeah, okay. I see. That's cool. I'm going to have to, like I said, I literally don't know much about backcountry skiing, but I do want to get a setup for this upcoming winter. I need some new skis anyways. Obviously I don't want to spend a ton of money. I already have pretty good ski boots, so I'm going to try to make it work with that, but we'll see. And hopefully, and I don't know. I just want to stress for the people that don't ski, because a lot of people that listen to this don't live in areas where skiing happens, or even if they do, they don't.
Oh, so I could just be making
skiing.
something up, and most of your listeners would
honestly
just take my word for it.
I would be taking your word for it too. Like I said, I don't know shit about this, but I don't know. I just want to stress that for everybody that it's like, it's still like kind of hiking. It's different than like downhill skiing at like a resort, right? Because like you're still out in the backcountry, you're still doing a lot of the same trails and the same mountains that people hike, but you can like get sandy with skis on. So I don't know. It's just that's the idea.
Dude, it's
anyways.
scary though. Like backcountry skiing in the Adirondacks. Like by the end of March, I was already skiing slides on like Mount Colden. So like I climb up the trap dike in the winter and then ski down the southeast slide on the other side. And the thing is though, it's like if the snow conditions are right, and so for any of the skiing that I did a few slides, but it's like the conditions had to be pretty optimal, because I don't want to be just going on really thin ice, literally. Or,
do you have to worry about avalanches on those slides?
Absolutely. So that's there's always Abby danger. Knowing how to what indicates an avalanche, bringing out your shovel, so kind of like building like this ditch in the snow, testing out the layers to making sure that it's okay. You don't have to do that, but like that's like you don't want to die, because people do die on these slides out here. And so like the thing is, like slide skiing, really at the end of the day, like obviously there's way more danger and risk involved with it, but when you take all that stuff away, if it's like genuinely like perfect conditions, there's no difference going down a slide than it would be as a black diamond at a ski resort.
Yeah,
but it's all about knowing how to, obviously there's so much more that goes into it, and there's much more risk involved, and it's much more dangerous. But the skiing techniques and everything and what you avoid, because slides are just open, flat rock glade, like just going down like a ramp, and so it's like you can just carve, go in and out of trees, and it's really, really fun, so I was only going on like moderate slides at the end, and I was with good company that we knew what we were doing. And so it's like Mount Colden, right? So I don't know, you've done Colden obviously. But in the winter, you hate winter hiking. For anyone listening to this, Kyle hates
maybe not once
winter.
I get a backcountry skiing setup. We'll see. Honestly, you're getting me kind of pumped talking about this shit.
Like I didn't bring snowshoes at all, right? So that was just so satisfying. I skinned all the way, got up the Avalanche Lake, and then put the skis on the back, put our crampons on, our boots. And that's the cool thing about alpine skiing, is so the boots that you have, most ski boots have the integration for crampons. They have the front and rear, the toe slots, right? And so you can put your ice climbing crampons right on. And so you throw the skis in the back, throw your crampons on your ski boots, you take out your ice tools, and you just start climbing. So we climbed up the trap dike, got to the top, and I realized, I'm like, the only way I'm going to get down this legally is like with my skis. I'm not about to go post hole all the way down this and freak out. So I'm standing on the summit of Colden, and we know where we're going to get to the southeast slide. And so we just put the skis on and we just start skiing down the trail. And I'm just like, this is so weird, because I'm used to snowshoeing, but it was so scary because I knew the only way down was going down a high peak on skis. And I'm like, John, you've been skiing for a month. What are you doing up here? But getting to the slide was just, it was a piece of cake. And then once you're on the slide, it's just like, I took my time. Took my time, kind of did what I learned and everything. So, but yeah, if you're used to skiing, like if you're a ski resort skier, like alpine skiing, backcountry skiing, whatever you want to call it, it's not going to take too much effort to get into. There's definitely a lot of other like
it's more the uphill that you probably got to get used to.
Yeah, but like no, there's different movements, different styles. Like for example, backcountry skiing, another way to put it is survival skiing. Things you're going to encounter. Really, like you go down certain trails, like you have to just know what you're going to do every 10 feet because it's like it's different. It's not like a maintained ski trail, you know. And it's just it's like it's just rugged, you know. So
yeah, you got to be a little more self-sufficient for sure. It excites me though because I feel like I got pretty. I mean, I'd skied before this past year too. But I feel like I got pretty good at like downhill inbounds resort skiing this year, and so I'm kind of ready to combine. I don't know. It'll give me an excuse to actually do some winter hiking. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is like the first conversation about winter anything I've had since like winter.
For the record, crazy. I am going to bring you on a winter hike, and that can involve skis.
Yes,
it can.
Yes,
but,
let's do it.
I mean, have you been on a high peak in winter?
Not technically. I did Phelps in early April, and it was winter conditions, but technically it was not winter.
But you've skied like Killington in the winter.
I haven't done Killington, but I've done like very, comparable, probably harder resorts than Killington from what I hear.
So yeah, you come out here in the winter and, we'll pick a nice bluebird day. In fact, I'll take it even one step further and do what you hate, and we'll go watch the sunrise.
Oh shit!
But you got to get that full experience. You got to just.
You're right. I hate sunrises, man. I
hate sunsets. You know how awful it is to be 9 miles away from your car on the summit. You're like, wow, sunset, and then boom, darkness.
Yeah, you know how awful it is to get up at like tired. 1 a.m.
Dude, it's just, I don't know. It's so much better. Dark, dude. Miles in the dark don't count.
I guess in a way. I've only done like one sunset hike ever in my life, which is kind of crazy. I've done plenty of sunsets. Or did I say sunrise there? I've only done one sunrise hike in my life. I've done plenty of sunsets, but only one sunrise. Sure. I'm just not a morning person. That's why. That's obviously why I prefer sunsets. But I get it. I get it. Trust me. And yes, I absolutely want to go do some backcountry skiing in the Adirondacks or some hiking for that matter in the winter. That would be sick. So we got to make it happen.
Totally. Yeah, man. So like, I don't know, like if we're just talking right now, but like something, I guess, one of my summer projects or what I've been working on here is the Grid 46. And, there's a lot of people, I think the guy who owns that cool hostel, I forget what it's called that I've stayed at, so gridding the 46 or gridding the 48, obviously you do all the high peaks in that area in 1 month. So out in the whites, it's like,
it's a thing.
It's a thing, and a lot of people do it. Kind of just like the Diretisma. So a lot, the Diretisma.
I learned how to pronounce that on the show.
The Worcestershire sauce. So there's a lot of people doing that, and I'm going to straight up say it. It's easier to do that in the whites. There's nothing about it. It's just easier.
I can see that.
There's no like, well, the Adirondacks have this advantage, the whites have this advantage. It's not like that. It's just no. I'm not saying the whites are hard to climb. I'm just saying logistically, when you're planning out the grid, when you're planning out the Diretisma, it's like, and the trails are so much better and all this other stuff. And it's like, there's literally, I think, what is it? There are 1,100 miles of maintained. I'm getting looks from someone sitting next to me.
You're probably getting a lot of looks saying that. That's a hot take.
Hey, you can come on and you can say something different. But listen, I've hiked the whites. I've done half the 48.
Yeah, Jonathan's got some got a live audience in his room right now. By the way, everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring him in a few minutes here.
Yeah. So like when I didn't say the whites are easier. I'm saying that when you do a lot logistically plan like the Diretisma, or or the grid. Like, for example, how many people have done the grid actually in one consecutive year or 12 months?
I think one.
At least that guy. But, he's done it. He's done it. And I think, he's done it a few times, hasn't he?
I think he just did it once.
Oh, did he? Okay. But, and so it's
actually,
like,
I think someone did it before him too, actually, now that I think about it. It's been talked about on our...
Sure.
I've literally had him on the show like 4 times. He's talked about it. Sorry, everybody. I should probably remember. I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Out here in the Adirondacks, not a single person has ever done that.
I was going to say, I've never heard of anybody referring to the grid like in the Adirondacks before.
There's only 24 people currently right now who have done the grid here. just in general. In fact, I think the fastest time anyone's ever done it was like maybe 2 years.
Wait, are you trying to do a single year grid in the Adirondacks right now?
No. But I've repeated a lot before I started to calculate it. But according to my grid, I started really realistically January of 2020, and I'm already halfway done. So
damn.
So yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Dude.
So I'm planning to finish December of 2022. And so I'm kind of casual now. Like I'm just kind of casual right now throughout the summer because I have almost all these months closed out, and I will go and finish. I'll try to get halfway done with like October, November, December. Those are like my next like crux months. But once that happens, once January comes, I'll just be closing out the month after month after month. Mm-hmm. So there's the grid, and as far as I know, I'm 24. I think the youngest person to have done it right now, her name's Emily. I want to say she's 35. Mm-hmm. So I know that when I do finish, if I'm 25, it will be a whole decade in a gap there for time for the next youngest person, I guess, to do it. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then with that whole thing, I was just talking to someone here about this, but the red line. So redlining is a very typical thing that you kind of hear, and it means like pretty much hiking all the trails.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So yeah. So like working on redlining the High Peaks Wilderness right now, which when the challenge started, and it's kind of still what it is, it's only 268 miles, but it's expanded because they've added more areas to High Peaks Wilderness. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of expanded to probably 350, but right now it's still the 268. And so only 7 people have ever done that. Which sounds nuts because if you think about it,
that's not that long. Like that's way less miles than the White Mountains red line.
It's right, but it's so much. It's actually bigger square mileage.
Like, no way.
I think.
What?
Well, okay. Wait. How many acres? How many acres?
That,
how many acres are the Whites? How many acres?
I don't fucking know, but it's definitely bigger than just the High Peaks Wilderness.
Yeah. No. That's true. White Mountain National Park is much bigger than the High Peaks Wilderness. That's not what I was saying. Was that what I was saying?
I think
that's
so.
Not what I meant
the White
to say.
Mountain Red Line is like every trail in the national forest,
right? But it's like 700 miles, I think.
No, it's longer than that. It's like
then it's 1100. Yeah,
it's
1100. So the Smokies were 700 then. That I saw because I have this book next to me. It has the number in there, but there's a lot.
You gonna do them all?
No, it's not
Oh,
Pokemon.
Come on, dude, you could. You're only 24,
no.
Man.
Yeah, well, I might redline the whole Adirondack Park before that, but so
that would be sick, dude. That would be sick.
Yeah, I don't think so. No one's done that yet. But
Nobody,
yeah, redlining.
Really?
Yeah, redlining the High Peaks is so it's like I said, 268 miles of trail, which is nothing. But in that whole area, it's 275,000 acres, which I don't really know how to put that in perspective, but it's still a lot of area that just like there's not a lot of trail, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's the hiking. Oh, the Adirondack 100 highest. So obviously the 100 highest mountains that are officially like a USGS classified like mountain. Yeah. The 100 highest. I don't know how else to say it, just the 100 highest. But I do have a friend whose name is Nick, and he's currently trying to hike all mountains in the Adirondack Park that has an official DEC trail to the top of it, if that makes sense. So I think there's how many?
Somewhere around 200.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So it's close to 200 here in the Adirondack Park, and I know probably like Neil Luckhurst or Jim Morrissey has done that. Maybe I know there's a couple people, but this guy's going after it. Doesn't even live in the Adirondacks.
Nick Groves was chilling in Jonathan's room or whatever while we were talking. And he's working on this cool thing to hike every mountain in the park. So Nick, what's up?
Well, as Jonathan said, my goal is to hike every Adirondack mountain with a trail. It wasn't my intention when I started. I just wanted a bigger challenge. I was just hiking parks and everything in central and western New York, and just wanted a bigger challenge. And then once I started on the smaller mountains, I just worked my way west to east across the Adirondacks. And when I heard about, the 46ers and all these other challenges and beating time records. I'm like, well, I'm 34 years old and I'm not breaking any time records, so let's just do them all.
Might as well, yeah, dude. That's so cool. I've never really heard of anybody doing anything like that. So when Jonathan texted me that earlier today, I was like, that's actually like a really sick idea.
Yeah.
So you said every peak with a trail, does that mean an official like DEC maintained trail? Is that what you mean?
Herd path trails count.
So herd paths still count. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like 9th Street, technically is not a DEC maintained trail, but it is. They're 2 of the 46 high peaks.
Right.
So something like that would count. There's been a few. Just because there is no cognitive list of all the Adirondack mountains, so I've been having to, go on all trails, look for mountains. I've been having to go on maps, look for mountains. So I'm going to close on Whiteface and Esther, but before I do that, I'm going to take the list I've made and go to the DEC, go to the Rangers, go to the Adirondack Mountain Club, and see if there's anything I'm missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just keep going from there. After here, I think the Catskills would be fun. After that.
How far into it are you?
From what I have a list of so far, I only have 38 mountains left.
Wait, what? How many are there total? You might have said this a second ago.
I honestly, at like 150, I kind of stopped counting or being able to
That's
keep
like
track of how
surprisingly low. I feel like it would be more than that. But I also don't know the park as well as you do, obviously.
Honestly, obviously the biggest concentration is the High Peaks region.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of mountains in the southwest, north, southwest, and southeast, but there's just the main concentration is the High Peaks region. So like, you got to take this in consideration. I don't know. Do you know Big Slide?
Yeah.
He's done a 46.
All right.
He's a 46er.
All right. So you're a 46er.
I'm a 46er. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Caught you, Jonathan.
Let's listen.
He can't hear me, can he?
No, I don't know. So when I did Big Slide, I actually approached from the backside and came up yard because I have to get yard, and then went down via Big Slide and the Brothers. So I got to take all that stuff into consideration when I'm hiking the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I'm just throwing out there, going up yard in the winter sucks because no one does yard in the winter.
I've never even heard of it, to be honest.
That's my bad. You can tell him I told you to do that.
Yeah. And by the way, that was Jonathan's suggestion to come up that side.
As everybody just heard him whisper there.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize. We should just keep having him whisper shit because he doesn't
like
realize that we can hear
I
him.
am not the biggest fan of winter hiking.
I'm glad to hear I'm not alone then.
Well, it's just because like you have to layer so much, and I'm a sweater, so where
Same,
you
buddy.
have to layer up, I have
that's
to bring
why.
like 5 extra T-shirts to change halfway through the hikes.
I think that's why I don't like it very much either, to be honest with you. I'm the same way, dude. I sweat my fucking balls off every time I go hiking in the winter.
So
It's,
bad.
well, any hike for that matter, yeah. Which
Like
obviously makes it hard.
I don't know if you know. Do you watch Brian? Brian hikes all day.
I know who he is. He's messaged me a few times, but I haven't really watched too many of his videos.
Whenever I go hiking with Brian,
He does
and
crazy
Jonathan,
shit, doesn't he?
Yeah, they both just like they're aliens because like they're flying and they're just they look cool and collective, and then you turn around and I look like I'm a freaking waterfall.
Dude, that's how my buddy Flossie is too. He like doesn't. I swear to God, he doesn't sweat.
Shirts in your bag.
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. And then like I'll just have natural camouflage from all the needles that are just sticking to my sweat.
Love it. Have you done? I'm trying to think of some random mountains that aren't 46. Let's just test you. Make sure you're getting them all. What's
most
that?
of the ones I still have to hit are on the eastern Lake George area.
Okay.
So
I
just keep
don't
in
know
mind
any
that.
mountains over there, so you're good. But I do know that there are rattlesnakes over there, so be careful.
There are. did run into one rattlesnake,
Shit.
one timber rattlesnake when I was out there.
That's just a weird concept to me, rattlesnakes in the in the Adirondacks.
I also had a black bear encounter without a headlamp in the dark.
That doesn't surprise me. There's no shortage of black bears over there. So I'm planning on doing the Cranberry 50 this weekend.
Okay.
It'll be done by the time this podcast comes out. But there's a mountain on there that I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to do. Cat Mountain. Have you done Cat Mountain?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Is it worth the 0.7 mile side trip? Because I'm going to be doing 50 miles because it's a 50-mile loop, obviously.
So it's going to be 7 miles out of your way?
No, 0.7.
0.7? Yes, it's worth 0.7 out of your way.
Okay. It looks cool from the pictures I saw.
It'll
probably be a game time decision because it's off the official trail, but we'll see.
I mean, I would definitely say that's definitely worth a few miles. So a 0.7, yeah, definitely worth it.
Okay, cool. Good to know. It'll probably be weather dependent too. If it's like pouring rain, which it looks like it might be this weekend, then I'll probably just give it.
Don't say that. I'm doing Phelps, Marcy, and tabletop.
I don't want it to be.
And it's my girlfriend's first high peak. I don't want to scare her away.
Oh, this might not be the weekend for that, dude. We'll see. We'll see.
She wants it.
How about Azure Mountain?
Azure?
Azure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty good. It's a steep one.
Yes, it's short. Short and
steep. It's really cool. And actually, it's the fire tower isn't what makes that mountain.
What is it?
As you're coming up onto the fire tower, you look left and there's this walkway that goes down, and then you're on a giant exposed rock face, and that you can just walk back and forth on the rock face, and the view is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that one because I went to Clarkson, and so that was like the closest mountain to campus, basically. So I would just go there. I went there a few times just as like last minute, like need a break from studying hikes. And it's also just like kind of an obscure mountain. I'm testing you. All
right, well, here you go. How many owl heads are there with trails?
I have no fucking idea. I know there's one in the Whites. That's about it.
There's 4 in the Adirondacks.
Damn. How about that? How many have you done?
I've done all 4.
Nice.
The easiest would probably, well, you got actually, 3 of them right here in Lake Placid area, but there's one up north that actually has an old mining cave with it.
Jonathan's fucking whispering.
I kind of want to go back to explore, but when I was by myself looking down at it, I'm like, a little eerie solo.
Dude, I can hear Jonathan whispering shit. I think is that a sign
you're not
that
being sneaky enough.
Dang it.
That's pretty funny.
There's
it's
3
like the
panther
devil on
mountains.
your shoulder. Three panthers.
3 panthers with trailers. There's more than 3 panther mountains.
Isn't one of them is a 46er, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one I've done. I've never heard of the other ones though. What's another one? What's the one? Snowy Mountain. I've heard of that one too.
Snowy.
I'm trying to think of the ones that aren't 46ers. Like
Snowy
I said.
Mountain I've done, and honestly, it was like when I first started doing all this, and I knew nothing. So like it was spring, and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful out today. And this is like when I'm in central New York. I'm like, I'm gonna go hike a mountain. Oh, Snowy Mountain. I'll go do that one. That's the next one on my list. Started off, it was beautiful. Then I get halfway up the mountain. It's just like, 2 feet of snow, but it's
snowy.
It's slush. It's like that hard slush snow that's just starting to fall apart under my feet. And I got up to the fire tower, and I'm just like, that was fun. I'm going to take a nap.
One more. Let me think of one more before you bring Jonathan back on. Obscure mountains that I know in the Adirondacks that aren't 46ers. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess this one isn't that obscure because it's part of the Sixer, but Ampersand? You know Ampersand yet?
That was fun. Ampersand was fun. Actually, I hiked it with a random guy I met at the trailhead.
Oh, nice. you just like were like getting ready at the same time or whatever?
As I was, he was just, he wanted help finding it. And so I drove in ahead of him, showed him where it was, and then we just ended up hiking it together.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Well, there you have it, Jonathan. Oh my God, I just called you fucking Jonathan. Rose, cut that out, please. It's confusing because I have the word Jonathan
it's right.
on
My
the
name's
track.
Groves.
Your name is not Rose.
It is not Rose.
Your name is Nick.
And some people will tell me you can't even say I smell like a rose.
I doubt it. If you've hiked that many mountains, I doubt it. All right, maybe you can leave it in there then, Rose, because that was kind of funny. Nick, thank you for. This is the first time I've ever had somebody pop in for just like a few minutes on an episode. So,
and I will say,
cool.
I do watch your videos.
Oh,
and,
nice.
From watching your videos, I agree with a lot of stuff you say, except I carry a knife, and it's a big one on my strap.
At least it's not a camp chair. That's fine.
No, it's not.
It's fine. I actually, that's funny because I made that video saying that I don't carry a knife like a while ago, but it's like my most viewed video, so people still like bring it up from time to time. I don't carry like a big old knife now, but I do carry a little wallet knife now.
You're like, you don't need to carry this big knife. I'm like, I have a big Gerber. It's on my arm strap.
Oh shit! Have you ever had to use it?
There
it is.
No, I've used it for things.
Okay. Oh my god, I almost said Jonathan again.
All right.
Nick Groves.
Right.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was cool
nice
to have a little
brother.
pop-in guest. Let's get our whispering friend Jonathan back on here.
Here you go, Whisper.
Hello,
Hey.
Jonathan. Yeah, dude, I could hear you that whole time. Every time it was kind of funny. I don't know how it'll come out in the final recording, but it was just like he would say
I'll
something.
probably just sound like some annoying background.
And then Jonathan was
sounds like, "Oh, Kyle's not good at editing this podcast. They're gonna think it's coming from your mic."
Tell him to like do it. It's so funny. Anyways, that's really cool that Nick's doing all that shit. I honestly, for some reason, not to take away from what he's doing at all, but I thought it would be more than like 150 mountains for some reason.
I would have thought it was too, you know. But it's like I think there's, I don't even know. I want to say there's probably over 3,000 peaks in the park that just generally are like recognized by the USGS. Yeah, but they could be. Oh my god, yeah, like literally could be anything, you know. So it's pretty crazy just how much wilderness is here, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. Can we talk about the trail running thing a little bit? Because I've been getting into some trail running, not nearly to the same extent that you are, but it's fun. I'm at the point now where I don't really want to like do straight up day hikes anymore. I just want to run.
Yes,
like, I either want to backpack overnight or I want to run. You know,
it's a lifestyle. You know,
it's a lifestyle.
But it's you know, it's a hiking style too. You know,
it is.
I still use the word hike. You know, but that's because I just don't. People expect to understand when I say run up a mountain because it's like saying when you go and climb a mountain, but you're not physically climbing it, you're hiking it.
So let me ask you this, because this is something I've run into as well. When I say like, oh, like I trail run this, but like I have to specify, I'm like, oh, but like I'm not like actually running the entire time. When you go uphill, do you actually run or do you just hike fast?
So what you're referring to is power hiking, basically is what it's called. So power hiking, it 100% depends on the incline, but I would probably say 8 out of 10 I am running uphill.
That's badass, dude. That's fucking hard, man.
For example, let's take Ryan Atkins for a second. And if anyone that follows me, they might catch that I talk about him a lot because I'm inspired by him. I mean, he's one of the greatest athletes in this field on the planet. He's actually, Spartan just released a top 10 list of athletes and he came out at number 1. So he is an obstacle course athlete, but he holds a lot of records out here. But the other day he ran up Cascade in 27 minutes and
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And so I mean, it's 2.5 miles and you're climbing about 2,000 feet, maybe just a little under 1,800 maybe. And I was like, so how did you get that time? Like, how much of it were you running? He's like, the whole thing. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, pretty much just like, it's almost like when you're going uphill, you're kind of jogging, but you're not like running up it. Like you're power jogging,
I can't even
guess,
jog uphill, yeah.
So whenever I go out, it's always on my mind to break some type of record segment, so like segments on Strava are like where it's at, so the trail running community, the hiker community, so many people out here use Strava and it's a great instrument to, it's a social media platform for athletes, I guess you could say. Yeah. And so it's really, you can see your route, you can see other people, what they're doing outside daily. It's really great, beautiful tool. But it also shows segments on your runs. And so it's like you could go run to Marcy and back, and it's like there might have been 12 different segments. There are certain stretches, and you might get the fastest time, between here and there.
Interesting.
But so it's like
I
that.
need to get
so
Strava. I've never.
Yeah.
I've wanted to for a while, but I haven't yet. Flossie,
Right, so
Flossie downloaded it. He's been tooling around with it.
So like I could go run. Let's say I could go to run to Phelps, right? If I go run to Phelps, it'll give me a segment from the Heart Lake to Marcy Dam, and then it'll give me Marcy Dam to the bottom of Phelps, and then it will give me a separate segment from running just up Phelps. It will give me a segment running from the lodge to Phelps, and then it will show you every person in history who's ever recorded that on Strava, which is a lot of people because it's such a popular thing. And Strava's the standard when it comes to just like knowing distances, times, and stuff like that, and records, because so many people use it. And so it shows you like 600 people have recorded running up this mountain, and here's how you do. And it shows you your podium, like where you're at, what place, and whatever. So
that sounds sick. I need to get Strava. Do you run it? Do you have a GPS watch, or do you just use your phone?
No, I use GPS watch. I'll use my phone if I'm doing something really short, because if it's something really short, then I need it to be accurate as well. And so the phone is honestly way more accurate than my GPS watch. But I do have the GPS watch that I use is the Suunto Ambit 3 Peak, which is it has as far as I know, it's the longest lasting battery on the market. So it's like with GPS mode, let's say you were going to do a week-long trek, I think 300 hours with GPS being on is the longest it lasts. But that's like doing 5-minute intervals. But then you can take it all the way down to like, I say with it being really accurate hiking, just like a regular, recording, I would say like 24 hours of solid recording is generally like what its battery life is good at. So you can go out and record any day with absolutely in any conditions and have no concern for, loss of battery.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when I say I'm getting into trail running, I mean I'm jogging on the flats and the downs. I can hike up the ups pretty fast. Like I'm still like going pretty hard.
And no, a lot of it's like that.
I can't run it though. I can't run it yet.
That is a very normal thing though. Like honestly, trail running is like, go ahead, like jog, do a 12-minute mile going in on the trail, just nice jog, leisurely pace. When you get to the ascent, just power hike up it. And then when you come down, if you can, run down, or jog down the decline and then kind of jog out. That's totally trail running.
Yep.
So
yeah, it is, and it's still way fucking faster than my normal hiking pace.
And you take like no weight with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously,
and you
it's
don't really
risk
take
management.
many breaks either. Not as many, anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more risky. Like I've gone and trail ran like Tabletop, Phelps, and Colden in the end of April, and it's like these trail conditions you shouldn't be on, and it's like it's really dangerous. And here I am only with just food and water, and my phone. It's like, so like the minimalism definitely can become it's risk management, but it could definitely in some areas can become very like dangerous, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because this is something I've been wrestling with. Do you bring poles, like hiking poles, with you when you run?
Completely depends on the route. 100% depends on the route. So let's take 2 instances. Let's say I was going to go run the Great Range Traverse. Okay. I would not bring poles because on the Great Range Traverse, there's so many things to grab onto. There's so many things when you're running on the flats. You're on the flats, but there's so many scrambles, routes, and stuff like that. It's quicker to just grab something and like drop yourself down and just run up, and you're grabbing and climbing, right? So there's like that. Same thing with Marcy. Like if I were to go run up Marcy, it's pretty much the wheelchair ramp of the Adirondacks. So it's like that's no trekking poles. But on the Bob Marshall Traverse, I will trail run with trekking poles. So here's a good example. So a couple weeks, like a month, almost 2 months ago, I ran something called the Patch Sprint. It was my first competitive trail run race. It was a half marathon, climbed up 4,000 feet, 4 separate mountains, and had some asphalt running and everything, right? So you start at the finish line, and before the last mountain, which is Poco Moonshine, you have to cross back over the finish line. So like 75% in. Not the last mountain. Sorry, there's 2 mountains. So you go and you run up Rattlesnake, and then you come back and you run up Bear Mountain. And then you come back. So you're pretty much like on the final stretch once you come back to the finish line. When I was running it, I had my, and this was legal. This is part of the race. I had my trekking pole stashed at the start line, right? So I had it stashed at the start line. And so we ran on the asphalt, ran on trail, then ran up the mountains, ran down the mountains. And, you know, I'm expending a ton of energy. Once I get back to the start line, because you have to pass it to go to the last 2 mountains, I then grabbed my trekking poles. Because I'm so like winded at that point. It's like the trekking poles, I'm not going to be running up some of these next mountains because they are so steep. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I got my trekking poles out and I basically just power hiked as hard as I could, still trying to get a jogging pace, I guess you could say, but power hiking and using the trekking poles to get up the inclines. So where trekking poles would be really good for are on the inclines that you would be power hiking when you trail run, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's an incline where you just don't need it, then you don't need them. Or if it's really technical, that means it's probably a really steep trail and you're not going to be running in general. So you don't need the trekking poles. But so, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's really like, if you're going to actually be running, then no, don't take them because you're going to move faster without them.
Yep, that makes sense. I'm still figuring out what I want to do, what works for me and shit. But, have you been okay? The reason you haven't been maybe filming some of your hikes this year is that because you've been running mostly.
So, since I committed to my grid in December, everything's been very much just like I've been going out for myself. And don't get me wrong, when I like video and document my stuff, it's definitely something that I love to do and that I want to do. But the passion definitely wasn't there as much because my goals were kind of different. I'm not going out and hiking. I don't want to carry my camera equipment, and I have all these goals in mind. And so I just really wanted to focus on trail running and just enjoying these mountains. And I feel like over the last year, I've been able to experience these mountains in a way I never had before when vlogging or documenting something on YouTube, because like, it's my own goal, my own purpose, my own desire. And so it's like when I went to go out and record the single season Winter 46, I was going out on hikes. You know, I could actually turn that into a film, into a story. When I, you know, it's like here, it's like, if I want to go out, I'm going to go run for 6 hours. I want to just get those peaks done and just come back, you know? Now, to kind of transition on that question, my content will most definitely over this summer and into the fall and everything will like come back. It's going to come back because another reason why I guess I've just been so kind of like lacking on it is because my equipment is so outdated now. It's honestly limiting me and what I want to do. The pictures I want to take, the video quality and everything I want to document now. And so I really want to turn the stuff that I have on my YouTube channel, I want to turn it into like cinematic masterpieces. Not that, you know, I'm already trying that, but it's like if I had, there's just so many things different. Like things are going to go from 1080p now to 4K. I'll actually have 10-bit raw Kodak, like stuff like that. Like when I'm out in the wild forest areas, I'll finally be able to actually have like legit aerial footage from a drone.
Nice.
And it's like, I just invested $7,000 in a new equipment. And
damn, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have that money. I got a really, really great 0% interest, you know, on the credit card and got points. So it's like that. If you're going to make a big purchase, you know, and you obviously have a payment plan, I totally recommend people putting it down on a credit card because it's like you can accrue credit and there might be like 75,000 free miles after spending X amount of dollars, right? So credit cards definitely can give you like more. So it's like, for example, like I just bought a bike. I bought a $2,000 road bike, right? Okay. And I got the credit card and it was an American Express card and they were offering 75,000 free bonus miles, which is equal to a $750 plane ticket, which is pretty much a flight anywhere in the world.
Do you know how many 45-year-olds are listening to this and rolling their eyes at taking financial advice from a 24-year-old?
I know, but it's so true though. It's like if you have a payment plan, you know, if you're not going to just get yourself in debt. So it's like you go and do that and then boom, I got a free flight anywhere in the world and I was going to buy this bike already, you know? So
boom.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
Look out for his.
I am not Dave Ramsey. But yeah. So back
you're the Dave Ramsey of the Adirondacks though.
No,
and dude,
no.
I've really been enjoying the the High Peaks Report videos. Those have been
Yeah,
awesome. I've been watching
yeah.
all of them and shit. Like, I really like that. It's
And
cool
I
to
think-
kind of stay up to date on like what's going on over there.
I thought that was a good idea to carry the channel through, because if it wasn't for those, I would have nothing on my channel. You know, so I thought it would be good to just not leave people hanging. And I just incorporated a brand new membership thing for my YouTube channel. I don't know if you saw me mention that once.
I did. I watched the video. I watch all your videos, bro.
Thank you for your support. I can say the same back to you.
Fuck yeah.
So so like, for example, membership thing is something so great now that it allows me as a content creator, because like you obviously understand this, like we're putting hundreds of hours in what we are doing. Even just this podcast, it's like we're branding ourselves, expanding ourselves, and we're putting in so much effort and passion into the stuff. And it's like, you know, obviously we want to do it. We want to do this stuff, and we're glad to do it, you know, but it's like, it would be nice that like, if I imagine how much money you'd make if you were just getting paid minimum wage for every hour you put into
Yeah, I know. I've thought about this.
something there, right? So you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I do know that there's a value to what I put out, and there's a value to what you put out, and there is a grind behind that. And it's like, you can just sit back and make content and like make nothing off of it. That's totally fine. But I do want to be able to make a living off of my photography, off of my YouTube, off of everything that I'm doing combined. And just like, I'm a very entrepreneurial person. And so like, I'm trying to brand out. So I just started the member thing. I just opened up a brand new clothing line. And
yes, dude, it looks sick, by the way. It looks really
Thank
good.
you.
And I'm
Thank
not
you
just
very
saying that,
much.
like, seriously. I thought it looked awesome. All that stuff.
Sure. So real quick with the member thing. So what's super cool. So basically what people are going to get is this is what people get. So so there's 2 memberships, right? So you can choose whatever they're going to get in what they're paying. Cause obviously people are paying something a month. What's great is YouTube gives 70% of what they paid back to you. All right. So it's a great deal. It's awesome. But the thing is, you need to be able to like, hey, if someone's going to pay $5 a month, if someone's going to pay $10 a month. And by the way, people who are listening to this right now, they probably don't care about this, but I'm just explaining this to you too. But just real quick, and you'll get psyched about this. I think, I'm not trying to get you to sign up for this. But so for example, for $5 a month, people are going to get exclusive videos. So I'm going to make videos just for them. And I already uploaded one, like a never before seen vlog, right? I privated all my videos 2018 and prior, because that's old content. It doesn't represent who I am. I don't want people
Did you
finding my
private the
stuff.
fire alarm one?
No.
Sometimes that gets
Dude,
popped up into
I
my
didn't-
suggested feed.
I didn't private my Civil War reenacting video from 2012. Oh my gosh. There's
Gonna
some
make
videos
people
on
pay
there.
$5 a month to watch
No,
that.
because I keep videos up there that it's like, if people want to actually stalk me and see my oldest stuff, I'm going to let them see that stuff before Adirondacks, you know. But in terms of Adirondack stuff and any old content, it's not just I don't like my old content. It's actually dangerous, you know, like my trap deck video. I removed that because it's like, it was getting thousands and thousands, 25,000 views, I think is what it was at. And it's like, it is definitely contributing to people thinking that the trap deck is a trail. And I don't do the trap deck justice on there. I honestly just make it look like a fun day. And it really is not a good representation of me.
Well, damn,
and,
it's good you have that reflection, I guess, on some of your old
people
stuff.
told me. People had to convince me to take it down, but so I had to kind of open my eyes to that.
Well,
but
you
yeah,
still
I
had
look
to
back
come to
and-
the conclusion yourself, though. It'd be
You
easy
know-
for you to just be like, nah, fuck you, it's my video.
Right.
You know?
So for example, I still have my journey of a 46er video up. Okay. That people can see my whole journey video and whatever, but all the videos, a lot of the videos that I made in that whole process, the individual vlogs, are now privated. But people are messaging me all the time saying like, I'm at work and I just throw on one of your older videos to pass the time because you're so funny. And I'm like, dude, I'm not funny. I'm just suffering. You know, and so like all those private videos, like 25 of them are now like for members only. So they can go and get those. Next thing, giving back. A percentage of every single person's membership will go back into the park. For $5 a month. Then you also get on a monthly Zoom meeting where everyone will just come together, talk shop, chill out, hang out. And then you get discounted merchandise. You get 15% off of my merch shop. And then obviously you're supporting me as well because you love the content. So it's like, that's what you get for $5 a month. And then for $10 a month, you get all of that stuff. But then ready, this is where it gets cool. You get early access to new videos. So I make a video a week before it comes out. You get to see it first. This is where it gets sick. Wyatt's Tex-Mex. Okay, you might have heard me talk about Wyatt's. Wyatt's is a Tex-Mex place here, right?
Flossie and I make fun of you for that all the time.
Yeah, so Wyatt's, I connected with Rory, the owner, and anyone who signs up for that gets infinitely 10% off of their purchase at Wyatt's. And then this,
dude, you're making my Patreon look so fucking weak right now. You know how many of my
wait till
Patreon
this last
supporters are
one.
gonna leave now?
Wait till this last one. You ready for this? This pays for itself. Photo discount. You get 10% off of a photo order on my website. And as a photographer, you know, photos can charge be a pretty penny. And it's like you get 10% off that order. It already pays for itself. Anyways, I'm not trying to plug all the stuff. I was just trying to explain, just like the membership thing is a new way that I'm trying to expand out and try to put more get more back, I guess, for like what I'm putting out.
Yeah. So you can keep living the dream, doing it full time. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
And then there's the merch shop,
Yes.
So.
Yes. And the merch looks fucking amazing, dude. Like I said, I've wanted to do that for a while too. I've got the Patreon already. I hate to say it, but I don't do nearly as much stuff for my Patreon supporters as you do, it sounds like, or for your membership. Same concept. But I've thought about doing the merch thing, and I've always wanted to. I just don't have the time. So it was honestly cool to see you do that. And I think when I do eventually get around to it, I'm probably going to be asking you a lot of questions about how you did it, because your shit looks awesome, dude. It looks awesome, and I'm sure it's going to do well.
It is pretty simple, but it definitely takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, I hired people to not design the stuff. I had the designs in mind. I thought about every one of them, and they're all original, like from my brain, but I don't have the talent to, open up Adobe Illustrator and make those designs. So like I used Fiverr and hired people. I found like whose designs I liked, or graphic artists, and is like, okay, I like what they do. That's the look I'm going for in the feel. And so then you kind of just hire them, and it's like, you might pay like $40 or $50 for a design, but in the long run, it's like, what's
you only
$50?
got to sell a few shirts to make that money back. So
right.
That's dope, dude. I love it, man. We gotta wrap it up here. I know you gotta get going, and I need to get going. I'm gonna go buy some food from REI for my cranberry hike this weekend.
Okay, don't get whatever you do. Don't get Mountain House.
Which one?
No, just Mountain House.
I never eat these dehydrated meals. For some reason, I'm finally gonna do it after how many fucking thousand miles.
If you can though, I don't know what REI has. If they have more than just, if they have Backpackers Pantry, go to Backpackers Pantry. The ingredients are much more natural. And you'll thank your bowels will thank you.
Word.
So,
Word, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming back on. I'll have a link to Jonathan's channel, everybody, in the show notes. If you haven't seen his stuff, you got to go check it out. And Jonathan and I are gonna see each other tomorrow night, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna go crash at his place on my way to the Cranberry Lake 50. Right. So, Jonathan, thank you very much, man. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody.